Testing.
Testing.
Whoa,
1, 2, 3, 4.
I don't know. I think it's good. Try it again, Megan.
Testing. Megan is here. It's really snowing outside.
Oh, I don't have Ella's microphone hooked up. Megan is here. Oh, no. Or Daniel's. Or somebody's.
A minute.
2 minutes. Well,
2 minutes.
Daniel, give me a mic check.
Hello. Can you hear me? John,
I can't.
this is Dan.
Ella, give me a mic check.
Ella is present.
Ella.
Sitting by the window. Hey.
Oh, I love it, Ella. Daniel, do another one.
Hello. Daniel is present. I'm by the window.
Daniel, that's not sexy. Okay, Megan, do it.
Mic check.
Megan, mic check.
Mic check.
Ooh, I like it. Okay, let's do it.
We nailed that.
1 minute.
Would you like some kombucha?
No, thank you. Was that tea ready?
Oh, yeah.
It's not vegan.
That is true. That's not vegan.
They should make a vegan one.
Wait, is kombucha vegan? No, it's light.
Usually, as long as there's no honey in it and there's no mushroom spores that are cultured in dairy.
We're not live yet.
That's.
But we are now, Megan.
Oh, what are we? Oh. It's not ready for that. Welcome back, guys. Welcome back to the Floating Light Live. I'm sorry, I just floated. I'm not gonna lie to you. My bad. Yeah, we're gonna wing this today. Sweet. That was a great intro, you guys. Welcome, friends and float family, to our Floating Light Live. I am your host today. I am Megan. It's really great being behind the camera again. We are here to articulate and postulate the post-float glow. We are here today with a close friend of mine, Ella. She is a yoga instructor, life coach, vegan, dancer, and a close friend of mine. I cannot wait to unreel and unwrap the story of Miss Ella. And we will be back in just a few. That was rough, bro. This week, if you guys have any comments or questions, please comment them. We see them live on our screen, so Dan and Ella will be able to both see them. So you guys have any questions for any of us, please comment or say hi to us below. Hit that love button because we love that button. Show us some love. Spread it all over. So as usual, I'm actually... Dan, did you float today?
No.
Okay, I'm the only one who floated today. But we will ask Ella what her last experience was like with her float. So we will hit it to the couch cam. Hello. So
Hi.
Ella.
Hi.
Hi. Welcome.
Thank you for having me. This is awesome.
Thank you for coming. I'm actually just like super stoked on having you here. John was like, dude, we're having Ella come. I was like, yes! I like her. So sweet.
Yes.
So anyways, how was your last float? Like, actually, what kind of... Okay, we'll start there. How was your last float?
Out of this body. It was amazing, and it was actually on my birthday. It was the last time that I was here. And I feel like I was just able to gain so much clarity and so much grounding that I desperately needed at that time. Yeah, so a lot of really good introspection, and I did a float with like the stars and a little bit of music in the background, and it was just so relaxing and grounding and very enjoyable. Yeah.
I love floats that are like that. That's kind of how mine went today. Hi, Mom. Hi, Dad. Hi, Scott. Shouting you all out. So actually, what kind of started you on floating?
I really was looking for like a spiritual grounding community as a way of having an experience to connect with yourself and having a way of being able to introspect and kind of quiet your mind when there's just so much noise and chaos everywhere, and just being able to find that serenity and to have a place to go that you can always count on as like a brick and mortar place.
Absolutely.
So thank you for creating something like this. It's amazing.
Yeah, absolutely. I full-heartedly agree.
Yeah.
So now diving into a little bit about you, did you find that with the previous experiences that you have with yoga and meditating, I'm sure on your own, what kind of was that journey like? Wanting to go into that spiritual journey per se.
I think I've always wanted something bigger, and I've always wanted to connect with other people, and I've always wanted to connect with myself, and being able to think of something that's more than what you are, that other people are looking for to give life more meaning. It seemed like it was the most important thing that you could invest time in.
Yourself.
Yeah.
True. Very true. I agree with that. So forgot it.
Megan, you just floated.
Yeah, I did.
Megan just floated.
I just floated. Really.
How was your experience?
Oh, it was really good. I actually, I was super. I was like, I just got my hair cut today. Actually,
cute.
So I was like, don't I float? I was like, no, my body was like, you need this. I actually ended up floating last week, and I actually had on Mitch's soundtrack, and I really, really enjoyed it. And my mind was just racing so much. It was date night that night, so I still had plans after for us that he didn't know about. So I was trying to piece it all together still. So I actually finished planning date night in the float tank, which is actually kind of pretty ironic. So I was just running through all of that, and within the first 45 minutes, I had out of it what I needed.
Oh wow!
And I was like, one of my regulars. He's so funny. He's like, Megan. He's like, I need 45 minutes. That's it. I get what I need out of my floats in 45 minutes. I was like, I don't understand how that can happen. I don't get it. And I went in and I came out. I was like, whoa, this is how my client feels. I was like, I get it now. I had an additional technically 45 minutes left on it because I was floating for 90. So I was like, what am I gonna do in here now? Just kind of sat in there, and I got everything out of it that I needed, and I went back in and I was floating around for a little bit, and I shut off for a little bit, and then I came back and it was like, get out. I was like, all right, whatever. So I got out. I finished doing some things prepping that I needed to do before I left. But I had this burst of motivation and energy. And I was up until probably 12:30, 1 o'clock in the morning that night. And then I got home and I was just falling asleep. I was putzing on my phone, and I was just out for the night. It was insane. I haven't had that happen in a really long time. And Dan, what was the name of that stuff you gave me that night?
So before Megan's float, I gave her, she had a little swig of this thing called Love Elixir by the Seed Guild. You could follow their page on Instagram or Facebook. It's the Appleton Seed Library, and so go support the Appleton Seed Library and the Seed Guild. And what she had was Love Elixir and paired it with the float, and she got more than expected in the float. So yeah, I got way more out of it. And then on top of it, it was this whole boost of confidence. I walked past the mirror and I was like, woo, hey, you cute. I was just it was just a whole self-confidence that I had, and it completely flipped my mentality. I'm getting ready to go on a cruise in March,
So like, it was exactly like the boost that I needed. Still planning on getting close for it and everything. And then today I came in and I meditated on a specific topic, and I got a lot of clarity with it. And like at one point, like I just felt like all the stress and anxiety of everything just like lifted, and I like shed it out of this skin. I always call it. I always shed layers as I grow and evolve. And it was really cool because like I saw that literally happen in the tank, and I was like, okay, like my mind's probably been racing for probably the last half an hour. Like, can I like sleep now? Like, that'd be really cool. So then I actually ended up going in, and then I was able to recalm myself back down and be able to actually float and actually zen out into a deeper meditation state than I was in. And then when I came back, I was like I just feel so much lighter. There's a lot of relief that was needed, and it's really cool to be able to get that. So I'm still kind of out in La La Land trying to come back. Just like at this point I was just like, just take me, like, to do this. And then like I got out like 10 minutes early, and I was like, I need to myself before I go on live tonight. I didn't myself enough. Hoops. Hello Hope, hello Danielle, hello Roug.
Hi, Ro.
Hello, everybody.
What is up? So we can dive into you being a vegan, and kind of how that, what you did, and prior to that, why you chose vegan, kind of that thought process of that.
Yeah, so I was vegetarian for 10 years, and I've always kind of had this personality where I always want to kind of evolve and try to do things more efficiently and to get more out of the experience. And going vegan really helped gain more mental clarity. And I had like struggled with depression and kind of like emotional type stuff for a long time, and just being able to have like the lightest, most like trauma-free perspective on like nourishing yourself and, you know, being kind to the environment and thinking about all of the chemical reactions that happen in your body based on what you're ingesting, because you become what it is that you ingest.
Yep.
So the more that we're focusing on plants and nourishing our bodies and, you know, bringing things that are there to help rejuvenate us, often give us like a better understanding, because there's just so much more grounding in that instead of, you know, all the caffeine and the sugar and, you know, the high processed things and the chemicals and everything. So the more simple and the more intentional that we can be with the things that we're bringing into our body, the calmer that we are, and the more that we can have focus, and the more that we can be intentional moving forward. And that's been a really big perspective for a long time, is when I'm eating cleaner and focusing on like the bigger picture instead of just, I'm hungry, I'll grab a donut, or, you know, I need cereal because I don't have time. I found that there's a lot of joy from cooking and kind of creating the space and having like rituals around things. I think that's why I love tea so much, is because there's this ritual of boiling the water and steeping the tea and just kind of quieting your mind instead of just like rushing through everything. Because it seems like there's so many things that, you know, I don't have time to do this, and this. So I'll just rush through or go through a drive-through or something. And being able to take time to really focus on the experience and be present for it, you just get so much more out of it.
Yeah, I actually completely agree. Mr. Dan, I know you have thoughts on this.
I agree.
Yeah.
So, what do you do? Well, you probably are way past this, but like, instead of grabbing a donut, like, what do you recommend people do? Like, celery and peanut butter, or not?
You mean for like snacks?
Like,
or like
I don't
if
really
you
believe in snacks. Like, I don't
Not
know.
pro
I guess I
snacker.
just gotta do the education myself. I don't know. What do you like? What do you snack on, dude?
I really like hummus.
Oh, yeah.
I do like homemade versions. I like guacamoles. I do eat a lot of fruits and vegetables. In the wintertime, I like a lot of like home cooked like soups and stuff like that. I love curries. I love like vegan sushi. Like AACs are my favorite. But it's just looking at, you know, what are the ingredients and what nutrients do they have that could be beneficial, instead of just grabbing like food-like products. Because the less nutritionally dense they are, the more that you feel like you're not being fulfilled, and then you want more junk, and you just keep like reaching for it, and you're never satisfied. So then you just keep grabbing more things that aren't fulfilling you.
And like, how does would you call this a philosophy? Veganism? And sort of way of life? Like,
I was gonna say, isn't
like,
that kind of how life is in general though too?
Like, do you believe like, when did you adopt this from your family, or this was all on your own that brought you to where you are with this?
Well, my dad was raised on a farm.
Nice.
And I remember being in grade school, and my teacher said we could write a report on whatever we wanted. So I wrote a report on how hamburgers were made, and was so mad, and was like, if people knew that this is how this happened, they wouldn't do it. And I was just such a rebel at the time. And I realized that there's such a disconnect between how things are made and where they're sourced from, and you know, how they're processed, and when we ingest them, like, what does it do in our body? And I had a conversation with a friend recently, and he's like, so are you not going to hang out with me because I eat meat? And I said, no, I don't judge anybody. You know, you're going to live your truth. I choose not to eat it, and that's where I am. So it's not coming at it from like a preachy standpoint. It's just saying, I don't want to cause harm on the planet. I don't want to stop an animal from existing for like a mouthful of flesh. It just doesn't make sense to me. So.
Nice.
Do you feel that's kind of how people look at life though too? Like, it's kind of the way, you know, people just keep grabbing and grabbing because what they have just isn't enough.
Yeah, and it's always searching for the next biggest thing instead of looking at where you are and what you have, and you know, how are you grateful? How are you, you know, reaching out to people in appreciation and saying thank you for, you know, the energy that you're bringing into the room, and thank you for helping me the other day, and thank you for like all of these little things. I've had people say that I'm very good at giving words of affirmation because they don't get them often.
Right.
So if it's just like with Megan, like, you are one of the best huggers I've ever met. And I remember hanging out with you and just feeling like so hurt and so present, and just being able to say that, like, I love you and this is how I feel. And just like, I can feel your heart like expand from hearing these things.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
That was actually like, that was kind of one of the things, like, you actually like changed my life when I met you, because like, no, like, honestly, God, because like, you're such like a, you were in counseling, you were going to school for counseling, right?
Yeah.
And that was actually one of the biggest things when we had first met. Like, you were so good at listening to what I had to say, and I was just like, why aren't you cutting me off? Like, most people cut me off. I was like, holy cow, like, this person's actually like listening to what I have to say. I feel like so bad for like cutting you off, because like I was so like passionate about like what I had to say back, and like I was just like, I need to be more like that. And that was like my biggest thing, because I was like, okay, like, I feel like I do this to a lot of people, and I was like, I don't want to be like that anymore. Like, not that it's rude, but like, I was like, no, like, I need to listen. Like, this is more of a priority than what my needs are in this situation. And I found that through you, and I was just like,
Aww.
well, like, this is actually like really cool. And I was like, okay, like, more people need to see this, more people need to be shown this. And I was just like, and that was the thing, like, when we first met, I was like, that's my girl. like I knew, like, right away, I was like, her and I are gonna get along. And like, you know, within 10 minutes of talking in my car when you're driving downtown, I was like, dude, like, and I was so anxious about going as is. So we actually met through a friend of ours, through a friend of that person actually. And she's like, hey, let's have a ladies night, and I was like, all right, sweet, like, let's do this. And I ended up inviting one of my friends out because like I was super nervous about going, you know, like being in a room of like not a lot of people that I know. Like I tend to be the person that gets shunned out a lot, like the person that's always behind, the person that's always like, I'm just like, I just exist type of person. And like you made me so like heard, like, and a part of that, and I was just like, oh, okay, I like you. This makes sense now. And my friend came with, and she felt the same way, and I was like, girl, you need to like come out with us, like come just have dinner with us. And she was like, okay, and I was like, oh, she said okay. Like, and that was like amazing because like she has 2 kids, and like it's really hard for her to come out. I'm like, you need this just as badly as I do, like calm. And we all arrived, and like the person that was supposed to be there wasn't there, and she showed up late. And like the 6 of us were sitting there like in this awkward sense, like, well, we're just gonna start introducing ourselves since our friend is actually late. And we're like, all right, have at it. So we started introducing ourselves, and you know, we had dinner, and then we planned on coming downtown. We all carpooled, and it was such a great night. Like it was so whatever like all of us really needed, and like there's actually a bunch of us from the group that still talk, hang out together, try to hang out more, which is always great. You know, seeing each other is always wonderful, you know, and then coming downtown, you know, we had hung out downtown for Oktoberfest, which was awesome. That was so much fun that night. But even you like to dance too.
I love to dance. I do. And the interesting thing is I felt like we naturally were able to keep reconnecting over and over again, and just like without even trying, like, do you want to do this thing? Yep. Okay.
Yeah, like we're just gonna show up together. Like, all right. It's like, hey, there's this event going on. Do you want to go? Yeah, I want to go. All right, I'll meet you there. I'm doing this for work, but let's go. That was kind of like, that's everything in between us has been so like natural, and it was like one of those like-minded people that you meet where you're just like those higher vibrations where you're just like, you get that presence around him, and you're just like, you just feel lighter, you feel happier. And I was like, I need more people like this in my life, like people that have these high vibrations, that are seekers in life, you know, people who are go-getters and, you know, I don't want to say the best out of life, but to continue to grow, you know, continuing to evolve. And that's been one of my biggest things, you know, the last 2 years of my life have been like super crazy, you know, even finding float light and kind of really starting my journey here, and then all these people that I've gotten to meet and these higher vibrations that have been brought into my life have been so amazing, and I just want to share that like with everybody. And I'm finding more events on like Mondays and Tuesdays when I'm off to do more spiritual things. So I'm like super excited about that. I'm hoping that I can find a dance place to go to too, because that'd be like super chill.
Oh, we're totally gonna find that.
Yeah,
for sure.
We totally are. It's like I've been like, winter months are harder because I don't have a lot of hobbies in the wintertime. Like all my hobbies are in the summertime. So I don't always know, not that I don't know what to do in the wintertime, but I don't know what to do in the wintertime. Like for real.
Yeah.
It's a struggle.
It's so much easier in the summer where anything that you do, it's like just go outside.
Just go for a walk.
Yeah, just go for a walk.
Just go for a walk. And I feel like that's a higher vibration though too, in a sense. You know, we're always connecting with nature. Not that nature can be connected with during, you know, wintertime, you know, but I feel like, you know, being able to walk outside, you know, barefoot, and to be able to ground yourself and just be like, oh my god, like this has been so long since, like, so great. And like we lack so much vitamin D too, because, you know, we don't get that summer light during the winter times. Then when it hits, you're just like, I'm happy again. What is this? Those are the feelings that like you always just want to have, you know, finding those people in your life that are like that. And even the group that we met at Oktoberfest,
they were awesome.
that was awesome. That was like one of like this super chill group of people that we hung out with, and I was just like, this is so cool. Like just like all the energies and the vibrations between us all is just, it's just awesome. It's really cool.
And it's also like the more that you open yourself up to that, where you're searching for a particular type of energy, you're more likely to find it, and it just keeps coming and coming.
Absolutely.
And even like in the past few weeks, like so much has happened and so many life transformations. And like in the last 2 years, I've moved 3 times, I've had 2 relationships, I've like changed jobs, and all of this stuff keeps happening because it's like you're looking for something to bring you to your highest self, and you just keep evolving and searching. And Everyone that we hung out with on both occasions were amazing people who were open and welcome and wanted to communicate and wanted to engage. And we all had like a spiritual side and were really interesting and really intriguing. And we really wanted to connect with like other women, which I think is really empowering nowadays, instead of just, you know, staying in your house all the time, but like wanting to network and wanting to engage and looking for people to go dancing with and to have dinner with and just be part of like a bigger community, which was really refreshing. So the fact that we all showed up and like wanted that on both occasions was
absolutely
awesome.
And it was like one of those, like, we weren't sitting on our phones, like we weren't like oh, like, sup, like, staring at your phone. It's like that's not like, today's society is so based around phones and technology, and people don't know how to communicate nowadays. They don't know how to communicate because they can hide behind a phone. That's why cyberbullying is so popular, and bullying in general, because I can tell you you're, you know, a piece of poo, but not back it up in person, because like, I can feel that I'm hurting your feelings. But that's another thing too, you know, I feel like being able to have those more open and vulnerable conversations in person means so much more, because you're not hiding. I feel as if you are your true, authentic, real self. And I highly believe that, because sure, you can say it behind a phone and put all your love and meaning into it, but is that person really going to reciprocate that?
Not at all.
No, they can't feel that. Love is a thing you have to feel. You have to open yourself up to love. Any type of love. Like, it doesn't matter if it's a relationship or it's family. Like, it can be anything. You could love the earth. Like veganism. Like, there's all these ways that you can do it. It's not just one particular thing or another thing. It's everything.
It's everything.
Literally.
Yes.
It's everything. Now, Wendy had a question. She's talking about changing eating habits or more of something else.
She wanted to know what the show was about.
We're just conversing, Wendy.
Never saying no.
Introducing Ella.
Yeah, thank you for your question, Wendy. That's awesome. And the cool thing is just being able to kind of be fluid about it. And, you know, this topic is really interesting. Let's explore it. And I feel like there's a lot of questions about what's the right way to do something and what's the wrong way to do something. And I feel like so much of it is based on where you are and what your goals are. And if it's just wanting more fruits and vegetables or wanting more energy or wanting to lose weight, like whatever it is, taking baby steps and setting attainable goals, because that's how we evolve. It's not crash diets. It's not, you know, following one specific thing that just isn't sustainable, because we'll never do it. So look at what your end goal is and kind of let yourself flow towards that. And I know that's a really weird way of saying it, but we have a tendency of finding the end like through the journey, where it's not, I have to do A to B. It takes so much longer to find your way there. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
If you know, you know.
Yeah.
And it takes practices like yoga, dance, and fluidity to understand. Not always, but like, if they'll know. Most of them are floaters. They understand.
They get it.
Yeah, you get it.
They
That's
get
why
it. They're
Exactly.
awesome.
That's why I was like, yes. You love, you flip them.
Yeah.
My people. So, and then diving into life coaching, then what is life coaching?
Yeah.
So life coaching is when we seek other people to help us find clarifications on obstacles and ways of overcoming them. And that can be very, very different for any person, where one person might say, you know, I'm struggling with addiction. Someone might say, I want to have better boundaries with my partners and my family. Someone else might say, I need anger management help. Someone else might say, I need a job coach. So whatever it is that you feel is important to you, you can bring that to the table and say, this is something that I'm struggling with. What's another way that I can think about it? And what's another solution that maybe I haven't considered? Because it's really easy to keep going at things from the same direction and it doesn't work. But then if it's, oh, well, have you tried meditation? Have you tried some other way? And I love quotes, so I feel like I bring a lot of those to the table. And just being able to kind of think of another way, and sometimes just meditating or having someone listen to you, where everything is different when it's spoken out loud. And when it's all, running around in our head and it's, oh, I can't do this because of X, Y, Z, and you say it out loud and it's like, wait, I can totally do that. Yeah. I know what I need to do right now. And it's just giving yourself that space to work through it instead of feeling rushed or feeling like, you're not good enough, or, I'm stupid and, I'm incapable of finding a solution. It's allowing yourself and trusting yourself to find what it is that you're looking for.
Yeah.
I hope does that answer your question?
Yeah, it did.
Very insightful.
Yeah.
It really did. So how and what made you decide then to go into life coaching?
Well, I started when I was in AmeriCorps in college, and I was working with homeless and runaway youth, and one of my mentors had a person in mind, and he is an amazing human. I met him in Milwaukee, and we were able to stay together for a while. And from there was more word of mouth where other people could see the way that we were interacting and said, wow, you're really patient, or you're a really good listener, or I like your approach. And the more that I was able to put myself out there, the more that I was able to gain skills by being able to work with other people. And it just felt so natural that I just kind of kept going. So it's been multiple counties, it's been, through multiple apartments in multiple cities that I've just been able to have the honor of being able to help people. And I feel like I've gained so much from that as well, because I'm able to introspect on my approaches and being able to kind of look at other quotes and other mediums and other experts that I can kind of bring to the table in the future. So it's like we're always learning and we're always kind of pulling information so that we can continue helping people. So it's not just, you have a job, you do that job, you punch out and you shut yourself off. It's like there have been so many sessions where at the end of the day I'm like, wow, that was an amazing conversation. I need to sit and meditate on this because there was so much epiphany and there was so much power, and things are said that just really hit you, that it's just so powerful, and being able to have conversations like that so often are just really exciting. So it's not just, how's your day? Good. How's the weather? Terrible. But it's just, what's the meaning of life and what gets you out of bed in the morning, and, what are you struggling with today, and just the big questions. So I really appreciate that. Yeah. I love the answer is 42. Yes.
It's Jen over there.
Yeah.
You don't get it.
Hi, Melissa.
You wanna know something?
Yeah.
So, you messaged us, and she
Yes, Melissa, it's snowing.
come on the show. I drank too much kombucha. That's it.
That's it.
Aries is also in the bag too, just so y'all know.
Thank you.
I spoiled it, man.
Oh yeah.
We're also drinking root beer
Yeah,
kombucha.
try the new root beer kombucha.
Dip spit.
No.
Please try it.
BFF is listening.
They're
It's
fine.
awesome. Gonna have another cup right now. By
No,
the way.
but when Ella messaged us, I was like, you should come on the Floating Night Live, and I was like, it'd be the most in depth, or it'd be like the most unique interview you ever had.
And I'm failing at it. I'm the one just taking in all this information. I'm like, wow, this is crazy.
Right?
I want to go vegan. So,
What?
for someone that wants to go vegan, what do you recommend for fats, proteins? I know you said guacamole, hummus. That's very rich in proteins and fat. But like, say someone's anemic and they want to be vegan as well. Like, is that possible, do you think?
It's very possible. And I feel like there's a lot of over-concentration on protein because everything that comes from the earth has protein.
Nice.
So it's very, very easy to do that. I would focus more on how are you absorbing nutrients. So, you know, your B vitamins and your vitamins and minerals, like that is really important in making sure that you're getting enough plant matter and making sure that you're eating enough calories.
Thank you, Mike.
Because when I first started, I did a lot of research and I looked at a lot of meal plans and I read a lot of literature and I watched a lot of documentaries. And anytime that you're trying to make a lifestyle change, the most important thing is looking at why you're doing it. And for me, like being able to look at, you know, the piece that you can leave on the planet and yourself and thinking of the animals and your health. And it's like there's so many levels. So it's like if you're focusing on that big picture, then it's really easy to kind of keep moving forward instead of, oh, it's not convenient for 5 minutes, I'm not going to do it anymore. You know, because sometimes it's just being able to focus on something bigger than yourself where, you know, there are millions of animals that are slaughtered. And being able to know that you can make a difference on that and you can have a lighter carbon footprint and you can be in a space where at the end of the day your conscience feels more at peace, knowing that you caused less cruelty and being able to see the amount of resources that you're able to save from, you know, not having that type of lifestyle. So it's always focusing on the bigger picture, taking smaller steps all the time. If you guys have the internet, which you're watching us, so obviously you do, just being able to Google like a vegan food pyramid. And it's cool because it's actually sideways. So we have different segments and it kind of shows how to differentiate that. But there's a really good picture. Google has a really good one. And that's readily available for free, so anybody can look it up. And just kind of looking at things that you already make, but maybe slightly different ingredients. So it's really easy to make spaghetti vegan. So if you want to do more of like the processed type stuff, you know, Boca Burger and Gardein and all of these companies make vegan versions, but if you want to go healthier, you can jump on Pinterest and just look up, you know, vegan spaghetti and meatballs, and there's
Pinterest
a million
is
different
amazing.
recipes.
Impossible Burger?
Impossible Burger, yeah.
No, this is the dirty vegan, John.
No. Listen
Dude,
to
that was... Dan, you weren't here for that!
I had an Impossible Burger. Stay away. It's
What?
No.
You didn't
was
like
it
it?
from Burger King?
yeah.
They-
You guys are
why.
talking about Burger King?
No.
Yeah,
Oh.
so the Impossible Burger at Burger King, I think they're actually giving away free samples. I think I saw that recently.
Have you ever actually
can
had the
take that.
Impossible
I
Burger?
can take the lid.
Yeah, so
I
Mitch
trust it.
brings us all these
I'll
burgers
just take the lid for
from
Oh, that's... Oh, this smells
Stone
so
Arch?
good.
the Stone Arch, yeah. And
Thank
he
you.
brings us Impossible Burgers, and Andrew, Thiel, Mitch, Megan, myself. I don't know.
Jason.
Oh yeah, Jason.
Jason was here.
Jason Genovic. He was one of our guests. That was really crazy.
That's the first night we met him.
Yeah, and we tried to stream the Floating Light live, but it failed. We still had the show anyway,
Yeah.
just amongst ourselves. So it was a show
was
for us.
awesome.
But
Yeah,
anyway,
literally.
we all ate the Impossible Burger,
And
it
then
was,
floated.
it was impossible. It was impossible.
Have you ever been to Carrot and Kale in Oshkosh?
I think I should.
Oh, yeah.
That's a really good suggestion.
This place is awesome.
I will check it out.
I think I should. Sorry.
I really, really love when people give recommendations for places because I love that so much. Because if you had a good experience, chances are it's awesome.
Oh, yeah.
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 And I love trying new foods and I love experimenting. And I was raw vegan for a period of time. So there was really great combinations that you can do with like nuts and seeds and beans and stuff like that. And you make things that just are so decadent and they're so nutritionally dense. So it was being able to explore with that
Yeah.
for a while as well. And here's this amazing watermelon tea that this
Yeah.
lovely gentleman brewed for me.
I haven't
so
tried
spoiled.
it.
Do you want some? It's so good.
I was gonna ask you how it was.
It's a
so
new flavor.
good.
I
Yeah.
know, and the mango one is too.
Wait, you got an Impossible Burger?
No, it's a new mango watermelon.
It's the watermelon tea.
Watermelon tea.
And I have rose lip balm on. So, like, mixing that with the watermelon is actually very, very good.
What did we name it?
What up, Terry?
Watermelon madness or something?
Yeah, something like that.
Madness.
It's so
Really
good.
is. It's so good though. Melissa.
Terry, we're looking forward to having you on the 21st.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mom, it's really good.
Yeah, Melissa, it is amazing.
I made it for
100% agree.
Melissa.
Yeah.
I was like, she's like, what kind of tea do you have? I was like, oh, we got a new one, a watermelon. She's like, sold. I was like, all right, good answer.
It's so good.
Sweet.
Yeah, we're gonna start selling it now too.
Yeah.
I talked to the president. Of the
President.
Yeah, he said
Yes, I did, Melissa. It was so good.
I'm the president of the tea.
President
Of all the tea.
of all the tea.
President of the tea. It's like the
Yeah, Steve, we're gonna see you Friday. Yeah.
Oh,
That's
nice.
awesome.
Oh, yes, and I get to see Liz.
That's like the best Valentine's Day present is coming in for a float.
His fiance is getting a massage with me.
Ooh, yeah.
Love her. So cool.
what? Wait, you can hear me. I apologize.
I was actually listening.
CBT and float.
Yes. CBDT, guys. What do y'all think? CBDT.
Are there any exercise that our viewers can do at home to, like, as recommended from a life coach that they could better their life and continue to ascend and evolve instead of stay stagnant in their life right now?
Yes. Anytime that you feel stuck, it's being able to take some time away to meditate on what your goals are. And writing down affirmations for me has been really helpful, and being able to focus on moving forward. So not feeling stuck, what does that look like for you?
Yeah.
And when I was in college, I kind of started out as a social work major, and psychology, and then social work, and then criminal justice. Huge story. But one of my teachers actually said, if you were to go to sleep and wake up tomorrow and you would have your ideal life, what would that look like? So you would walk through the entire day in your perfect life.
Yeah.
And then you would write the steps, like, what would I need to do to make this happen? So whatever that would look like, what steps do I need to do? Write down each step, and then write down what you have to do for each step to make it a reality. And so if someone said, I want to be more social, that could mean, I'm going to go to a coffee shop once a week and start a conversation with a person. Or I'm going to go to a grocery store and ask about a recipe. Or I'm going to jump on meetup.com and I'm just going to join a group. So it doesn't have to be anything crazy. It's just looking at, what is your goal and what is a reasonable step that you can do to make it a reality. Because I think stagnancy is being in a space where you tell yourself you can't have something that you feel would make you ascend.
Wow.
So you're putting yourself in a space where you are blocking yourself from greatness.
Yeah.
You are telling yourself, I don't deserve it, I'm not good enough, I'm going to be rejected, I don't deserve what I want. And those are all very negative affirmations that cause so much more chaos because they keep us stuck. Instead of saying, I am worthy, I am lovable, I can be social, I am successful, I am powerful. And you're letting yourself be something that's beautiful. We are made of stardust, right?
Yep.
So if you kind of look at it from that aspect where we're connecting with other people who want to connect with other people, and you let yourself be in that space, and you let yourself be invested in the hobbies that bring you joy and bring fulfillment and give you meaning, like, why would you stop yourself from doing that?
Yeah.
I love that question.
That was awesome.
That was a good one.
She loves all questions.
I do.
Steve actually asked a question. He says, do you have any tasty vegan snacks that don't include nuts and oils and are low in sodium?
Watermelon.
Watermelon with lime is delicious. It's one of my favorites in the summer. I love gazpacho in the summer as well. So if we're talking about winter type things, celery and peanut butter is really good. So wait, we said no nuts, no seeds, low in sodium?
Yeah, nuts and oil.
Nuts and oil and low in sodium. Fruit is always really good. So fruit salads are great. They're very easy to digest, and they're very instant energy. And that's actually the best fast food, if you think about it, because you just peel or chop and it's ready to go.
What's gazpacho?
Gazpacho is a cold tomato soup. It is great in the summer, and you can actually make it with like mango as well. So if you can't handle tomato, you can make it with mango or pineapple. So the great thing about it is you can make it as spicy or as hot as you want it. So maybe like some onions and cilantro, and you could put like chili powder if you want to make it hot. You can put a little bit of maple syrup to make it sweet and salty.
Ooh.
It's pretty great.
My mind's just went
Right?
blown.
Let's have a pop-up restaurant.
Ella, YouTube
Float Light.
channel.
Is cheese vegan?
Nope.
There are
Yeah,
nut
so,
cheeses that are vegan. Nutritional yeast is cheese-alike, and it is vegan.
Wait, what defines it?
Anything that doesn't come from an animal. So if an animal or an animal byproduct did not create it.
Honey's not vegan.
Kombucha?
Honey is not vegan.
Kombucha, I don't think is vegan.
Depending on how it's produced. So if there's no honey and there's no like cultures in dairy, it can be vegan, because usually it's a base of tea and sugar, and then that fermentation is what causes the yeast to culture. So there are vegan kombuchas out there.
What about steak?
You know the answer to that.
All right.
I love how playful you are.
Difference between vegetarian and vegan.
So when I was vegetarian, I was a ovo-lacto vegetarian, which meant that I ate eggs and I drank milk. So you can be a vegetarian that doesn't do one of those. So you can still go and have pizza at Domino's and be a vegetarian. But as a vegan, you know, you're trying to not have ingredients that have animal products in them.
Ovo-lacto?
Yep.
That's
Yep.
a sweet word.
Right?
Oh, man.
Yeah.
I'm the arbiter of the ovo-lacto.
Sounds like you'll have some inflammation problems.
All right. I'm sorry. Go ahead. Proceed.
And Steve, I can hook you up with that recipe for sure. Just feel free to leave your information. I'll be able to send it.
Hit her up on Facebook.
Do you have a newsletter or anything?
I like that idea. Look at this.
I like that.
I like this. Yeah. I was in vegan support groups on Facebook, so I do that.
Yeah.
I love having conversations, especially when people are transitioning or trying to look for, you know, people to network with in the area.
Yep.
So I can leave that contact information as well if anybody's in the area. The Fox Valley has a really good vegan society.
Whoa.
So they're amazing. They do a lot of activism. I was with a really awesome group in Milwaukee and Chicago, so they were great. And I think such a big thing for me was being able to meet with other people that had similar goals, where, especially, like, I'm a straight edge vegan, so being able to say, hey, let's go out and dance,
Yep.
and not worry about being pressured to drink or do drugs or anything.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
And those are the real drugs, the chemicals in your mind that take no toll. Just move, everybody.
Just move, yeah.
Flow. Flow.
You ever try any breath work? Yeah.
Every day.
Oh, snap.
Every day. Yeah, it's amazing how tension and stress can just alleviate just by breathing and focusing on your breathing. And EMT, emotional tapping, So there are trigger points on your body.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just being able to say a mantra and focus on different body parts, and you focus on your breathing and checking in with your body. So, focus on your ears, focus on your mouth, focus on your shoulders, and kind of scan like up and down your body.
Yeah.
And just focusing on how you're feeling is a really, really good one too.
Yeah.
I think they're actually teaching that to kids like in like school now.
Good.
Yeah, to calm them down so they're not as stressed out or they're not as anxious. Because like today's society, like everybody has anxiety. Like it's been a more normalized thing than it had been in the past. Same thing like even with
Sorry about that.
See,
I didn't mean to cut you off.
even the same thing, with like ADD or ADHD. Like, oh well, he has ADD or he has ADHD, but it's like, okay, he's 4 years old.
Yeah.
Like senses like that. Yeah, I know.
But when were you diagnosed?
I was diagnosed when I was 5. They put me on an amphetamine.
Oh wow.
I still take it.
Slowly.
What am I gonna do? I don't know. Don't talk to me about it.
You need to go through a detox with it.
Yeah, I'm losing my damn mind. Hey, go proceed. I'm sorry.
No, you're good.
I'm not usually producer. Right?
Oh my gosh.
So we have a beautiful snowstorm happening outside our window.
It's not real.
Looks like I'm just gonna sleep here, guys.
You can.
There's a float tank.
In the world, brother.
We got a float
I
tank.
think we were supposed to get a couple
I honestly just think
inches
it's from the
tonight.
wind.
Yeah.
It just started like this though.
Yeah. I was watching the wind.
It's pretty on this
This has
couch
become a
though,
weather
with
report.
the
And
nice
we're
tea.
joined by Daniel
Ella.
and Ella on the front end of the weather forecast for the floating light live.
Doing this
I should go outside. Like, John, I'm here. Abbott's in there.
Getting hit in the face by little pieces of snow.
Yeah, right. Y'all got all the goods back there again. Man. So, Ella, what are some things that you do in the wintertime? Activities?
I really like coming to Flow Light and warming up.
True. You guys, she gets it. Come
Yes.
float, warm up, get massages. We offer them Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Come hang out with us, warm up. We have heated massage tables, we have heated suites. Everything's just warm and cozy. And you get the comfort of me sometimes.
Yes.
In a float tank. By yourself. I'm over snow. Yeah, Dan, just go lay in the snow.
Yeah, that's why he's saying that because I called him on FaceTime as I was laying in the snow the other day after a
That's
sauna.
who you're talking to.
After a sauna, so I was just like, I just had shorts on and I just jumped in the snow and I'm like, I'm here, bro. And then I was like staring at the sky, and then like the sky just got closer, and I'm like, oh no, it's happening, dude, I'm here. It was crazy.
That's awesome. What was that experience like doing like sauna and then being in the snow? Like, how did your body feel?
Oh,
when
it's
you did
essential.
that?
I need
Are you
it.
doing
Yeah.
the polar plunge?
I must.
You gotta sign up.
Might as
soon.
well.
It's at Lambo.
I have a feeling I'm just gonna freeze and not gonna. No, I'll get back up. Yeah. But yeah. Before float light.
Y'all
like,
support Dan. You know you can do that. You can have people donate to your cause.
what?
Dude, John, we're
That's
doing
how
that.
I can move out.
We're doing. No, it's free. It's just solely for your.
Pay for my tuition.
So we're gonna support Dan on doing the polar plunge. We should set up a.
John has to do it too.
Dude, we can get.
Oh, we
supporters.
should train John to do the polar plunge.
Yes,
and that's a
then
whole
we can-
movement.
And then we can.
You're
we
gonna
can
go
train-
vegan. We're gonna get you to polar plunge.
Wait,
Just keep listening.
We are evolving as a team at Float Light.
I can't have steak?
Nah, man, it's not worth the price.
You
Vegan
can
steak.
you can have cauliflower steak and mushroom steak.
Those are awesome.
We must get off of the flesh and into the
Clarity.
fields and eat what the
Yes.
earth provides.
But no, seriously, that's
Can
the
I
thing.
still have CBD?
Yes.
Yes.
That's vegan.
No, but
Y'all should
Oh,
come
it's for
over to
charity.
my house. I'll totally cook for
It
you.
is.
Like, I'll make
So it's
things.
for, no, listen.
Ella should have a video of cooking. Baba ganoush,
Thank
guacamole,
you.
Ooh,
We're gonna
that's
have Ella's
awesome.
cooking
some
show.
pumpkin
Ella's
gazpacho,
Cooking Corner. Y'all, stop
That
giving
would
out
be
my
awesome.
ideas.
Wait,
Damn.
that was
Thank you,
good.
Cabrillo.
and we could also
No,
have
John,
guided
listen though.
meditations
Cabrillo wants
after
a
every
roll,
episode.
bro.
Okay, John, 5 minutes. Listen, this is the thing. We could actually support Dan.
This is the biggest 5 minutes of your life.
I know. So we could actually set up a fund to support Dan to pay for him to go do the polar plunge.
Wait, I could just drive him to the lake.
Wait,
yeah, this is
Steve
actually-
said it's for charity.
It's for charity though, like it really is.
Oh.
So you have all these people who donate. But you have all these people who donate for you to go do it.
Look at this
Like I
brave
donated for my
woman.
teacher to do it.
That's
This is
so
awesome.
brave.
Somebody should go out there and help her.
Hashtag Wisconsin.
This is becoming
Exactly.
Real
chaos.
life.
That's Wisconsin.
Craziness, I'm telling you. Well, you know, that is true. It is what it is. Oh, jeez.
So start with the GoFundMe.
Would you want to do videos, Ella?
Yes, I would
John.
love to.
Hey, I'm working with my girl.
Oh, yeah, sorry.
There's so many ideas, and the funny thing is, I've like started a YouTube channel like so many times.
You should do more lives too.
I should. I've
Gotta make them
wanted to
public.
do more.
Or you gotta do like a public page. So then like Ella's Vegan Corner or something.
That's awesome.
Or just be like just your name and then public figure.
We're taking over living with Amy,
Yeah.
and I can say that because I spent. You know what? Fox 11, it's all good because I just bought advertising with you, so you can come sue me. I'm just kidding. See our commercial on Fox 11. Oh yeah. We're renegades.
Yeah.
Sorry.
John needs a mic.
No, he probably shouldn't.
Polar plunging. Oh jeez.
How many floats do you
Same.
think you have on your account?
Like how many I've done?
Thank you, Scott. We
It
appreciate
was
you.
like 2 or 3. But I feel like it's just loving it and just because it was such a meaningful experience for me. Whenever someone says I'm stressed out or I have anxiety or I have depression or you know I'm stuck, I'm in a rut, I'm just like, well, you just go to Float Light, dude.
Yeah.
And they're like, what do you mean? And then it's like, let me tell you about how awesome Float Light is. And then they're like, yeah, I need to go. Yeah, that sounds amazing. So it's just being in that space where you have the ability to quiet your mind and relax your body and just take time for yourself where you're not
Yeah.
rushing through everything. So
One of my biggest conflicts I have is when like some guests need the pre-process of being able to leave everything out here
yeah.
and the expectation of nothing so that they can get to the point where they lower into those waves where they can expand into greater consciousness, you know?
Yeah.
I've had
So-
people who come in before and they just like unload on me and I'm like, okay, you probably needed that because now you're gonna go float, otherwise you would just thought about it in your float the whole time.
Yeah.
Yeah. So like how do we do that? Like how do we get people there without unloading?
I think unloading is so important.
Yes.
Because
She says.
You think we need a weight room? We need a weight
it's
room.
so
Just listen.
important. It's so important because if you don't let yourself be vulnerable to shut your brain off, you're never going to be able to relax. And the more that these things are running through your head and you don't feel like you can share them, they just continue to build up until you implode.
Yeah.
Manifest too.
Yeah, so the fact that they were able to kind of share with you and say, hey, thank you so much, man.
He's heading out. He's departing into the storm. Drive safe, brother.
Departing into the storm.
Let us know when you get home.
Yeah, man.
Please.
He lives like 2 blocks away.
Oh yeah, one
That's
block.
awesome.
He really does.
Great choice. I would be here all the time if I lived.
Yeah, he has
within-
every Wednesday.
You're from out of town?
I'm originally from Calumet County, but I live like less than 10 minutes away from here.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. So, love the Fox Valley.
Yeah, I like it too. So, imploding.
Yes.
Yeah, sorry.
Yeah, so kind of how you were talking about people.
I am the light.
I wish you guys could see this.
Oh, yeah.
Go more to the right. Go more to the right.
Yeah.
Or left. Your left.
Yeah.
Oh, I am the light.
Wait, say it louder. The float light.
Of your heart.
Drive safe, Aries.
Drive safe,
Be
man.
safe, yeah. But imploding, like unloading on, like is super important.
It's super important because there's always a certain level where you need it, and it's being able to find someone that can receive it and not take it personally. Because to me, it's an honor if someone is trusting you with all this personal information.
That
to
won't be
just
used
give it
against
to
you later.
Exactly. And I feel honored when it happens to me, and it happens often. And I really appreciate it because that says we're creating a safe space, that it's full of trust, it's not going to go anywhere, it's not going to be used against you, and it's used for your process to be able to get through. And just being able to allow yourself the space to do that instead of feeling like you can't share it with anybody or I'm bothering somebody.
Yeah.
So it's important. And I think so much of that is having a support system where you can talk to people. And, mental health is huge.
Yep.
So
Absolutely. I think that's why, like, you and I clicked so well that night, too, because, like, oftentimes, like, a lot of people feel that way. So when you have somebody who's just, like, listening, you're like, what is going on here? I'm, like, so confused, but, like, thank you. Like, I appreciate you so much. And then you find those people and you're like, oh, this is cool.
Mm-hmm.
This is pretty cool. And then it all makes sense. Kabir, you'll be back soon. We know.
Yeah, and just feeling such a connection in such a small amount of time where I was just like, we're kindred spirits. Like, we need to hang out.
Yeah.
And immediately I was like, yeah, we're going to be friends.
We're gonna be best friends.
Yeah.
Like, I came up. What was I talking to? I was talking to somebody. I was like, dude, you're never gonna believe who I met. They're like,
Aww.
her name is Ellen. She's amazing. Like, everybody I met, everybody I talked to, and I was like, dude, like, this is like the light. I need more people like this. And I was like so excited, and I was like, Mom. And then my mom actually ended up meeting you.
I love your
She was
mom.
like,
She's so cool.
she was funny. She was like, who's this Ella person? I'm like, I don't know. She's my best friend. She's like, what? And I was like, so remember that one time when I went out with all the girls? She's like, yeah. I was like, I met her that night. I was like, no, that person. I was like, Mom, you're never gonna believe who I met. Like, this person's amazing. And she was just like, yeah, okay. And then like later we went home. She's like, so how did you guys meet again? I was like,
Let me tell you the story, Mom.
can I tell you it again? I love sharing that story though. Like, it's one of my favorite stories. Like, listen to this, guys. Changed my life.
And the interesting thing about that interaction was that we were both kind of looking for the energy that the other person had.
Absolutely.
And just being able to feel like that amazing vibration where it was just, I'm looking for someone to talk to, I'm looking for someone to listen to me, I'm looking for someone that understands this spiritual side of me, where you're not, talking to someone like this, but it's just like you're talking to someone like this.
Here. Exactly.
Yeah.
And that's huge, especially for me, but even, and I think we talked about that night too, we had talked about how, like, we were both searching for, these empowering women, and we literally both manifested this, like, few days, maybe a few weeks before we had even met, and I was like, did this just happen? Like, sweet. Yeah. This is exactly, like, what I had been looking for, and it was such a big step for me. I wasn't one who'd always go out. Like, I would rather sit at home and do nothing than be vulnerable and to open myself up to people. It's one of the things that I was just like, that's scary, no thank you. And then I started throwing myself into a lot of situations that made me do that, and then, like, I met a lot of amazing people, and I was just like, oh, this is actually kind of cool, like, this is really great. It's really cool.
And it takes a lot of courage to be vulnerable, and it takes a lot of courage to reach out. And I know for a lot of people, it's a lot easier to not do that because it feels safe. Like, you're in your comfort zone, you can't get hurt. So it's, you know, I'm not going to do that.
Right. And I think that has
So-
one of the things too of, you know, having that support system where you're like you can go to that person and be open and vulnerable with them, and you don't feel like you're being a burden, or that like it, you know, it comes from here, not, you know, over somebody's head. And I think that's a huge thing to have, because, you know, there's a lot of people who is just like, yeah, you know, whatever. But then you have those people who comes from here, and you're just like I needed that. Like,
Yeah.
that was what I needed. And then, like, it all makes sense. And you're like, again, that vibration that, like, I finally feel lighter. Like, things make sense again. Like, I can continue to go and grow and move forward. And it's just one of those amazing feelings that you can experience if you're open to it and vulnerable.
And being able to have conversations like that where it's, oh, I understand how you felt. I went through something similar.
Yes.
You know, here's some words of wisdom that helped me, and then just being able to have that epiphany where it's, oh, that's
I'm
great.
not the only one.
Yeah.
And that was the biggest thing too. Like, what I'm finding too is, like, I don't share my story or my experience to overlap yours, or to say, oh, this is mine is worse than yours. It's to say, hey, I've gone through something similar to what you have gone through. This is what I experienced, and this is how I got through it. And a lot of people don't look at it that way.
Right.
They look at it as, oh, well, you're talking over me, or you're putting this ahead of this. And it's like, but I'm not, because this is what I'm trying to help you maybe understand from a different perspective, or understand it this way or that way, because I've been through it too. Like, because you're not alone.
Right.
That was the biggest thing.
And being able to validate the pain
Yeah.
instead of like one-upping it, like, you know, this situation is worse, but saying like, I feel you, that sucks.
Right.
That's really hard, and I'm really sad to hear that you're going through that.
Absolutely.
This is such a beautiful talk right before Valentine's Day too.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. That was honestly, that was kind of my thought process. John's like, oh, Ella's gonna be here on the 12th. I'm like, dude, that's actually kind of perfect, because like
Self-love and
Yeah.
so much
Yes.
of that, like so much love has been like presented today, and like I already feel lighter myself from
Yeah.
having all these conversations. And we also have our event on Saturday from 1 to 4. John. 1 to 4. Our event is from 1 to 4. It's Death by Chocolate. It will be Saturday. We will have booch for y'all to sample.
Always.
I don't know what else.
Breath, some guided breath.
Chocolate inspired breath work.
What?
that sounds mysterious.
Inhale cocoa. Breathe out cocoa.
Just be smelling chocolate
Right.
bars the whole
This will
time.
And
help
espresso
you.
beans.
We also
This
Coffee
will
beans.
increase your love.
tell them about the kombucha we have on tap right now.
We have bluesberry. We have peachy turmeric and acai, the superfood of Brazil.
Ooh.
Whoa.
That is a great combination that
It's
you guys
really
have
good.
present here. Wow.
And anybody who's gotten a massage.
Oh yeah, and if you have flowed with us for one time and you are coming back for your second time, the discount for the second time discount does not just apply to any float, but it also applies to a massage for a 60-minute massage.
That's awesome.
So we're so lucky to have Megan here to help people not just guide
Yes.
through floats, but also guide them in knowing their body more and knowing the pressure
flow.
points and where they hold and store stress.
My mind is blown.
My mind has been so today.
Well,
Yeah,
This
you
has
floated.
been so much fun.
Yeah, also true.
Yeah, I love this. I need this in my life more.
Right.
We need to do more videos together, guys.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. We're gonna start your Ellis cooking corner.
Float Light Studios.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have this idea called Waka Ganoush. It's guacamole and baba ganoush.
That sounds delicious. It just like rolls off the tongue.
Yeah, I know. It should be like
Yeah.
paid for. Or privatized.
Any final words, Masala, before we leave?
Know that you're loved, you matter, and your pursuit of happiness is important. And we really appreciate you tuning in and giving us some of your time. and come and float with us. You'll love it. It'll be amazing.
Damn, man.
What are my final words?
Yeah.
Fully in and letting go. Breathe in. Breathe out.
We all gotta do it.
Go with the flow of the breath.
This takes like 15 minutes.
In.
Those are my final words.
Megan, final words.
Ow. If you do everything from your heart, nothing can be wrong. 'Cause it's all with love. Trust your gut, trust your heart, and be able to give love. Willingly, freely, emotionally, vulnerably. We love you, Float family. To our new and old continuing guests of our live stream and floating community. We love you guys. To our crew here, I love you guys. Thank you all so much for being here with us. Ella, especially you, thank you so much for coming. Love you too, Dad. Thank you so much for coming and being part of the
the
show.
building across the street is for sale.
Yes, it's for sale. Come buy it.
Please buy it.
Come
You
sell
can-
it.
You and Dan can live above it then.
He's got a family of his own.
So do you.
No, Daniel.
No, he's actually starting a family.
Okay. Is that it?
We love you guys.
Thank
We will
you.
see y'all soon.